Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the Creative Council. My name is Natasha, and today we're going to be discussing the topic of restaurants and cafeterias in a dream. So, when you think about any kind of like building or elements in general, think about the functionality of that building or that place or the element. So, a cafeteria and a restaurant is a place where you go and do what? Eat, right? So, places that you eat is a place where you're getting food, and it talks about it's going to speak to nourishment, right? So it's where you're getting your spiritual nourishment, teaching or learning or something that nourishes your spirit or even your soul, your mind, will, and emotions, right? So biblically speaking, is that's the correlation or the metaphor that's used. With food is going to be speaking of teaching or doctrine, so something that you're receiving, something you're learning that is giving you spiritual truths. So a place of relationship or fellowship, like so if you're in a restaurant, that's going to be representation where you're getting nourishment, in a church or just a place of fellowship where you fellowship and where you are in community and you do relationship, and so that's where you're being nourished at your soul and your spirit is being nourished at. So if it's at like a smaller table, then that's going to be a smaller church or community. Or if it's a large table, that's going to be a larger community, or just where you're getting your nourishment at or whatnot. It also depends on what you're doing. So if you're being served, that's obviously you're receiving the nourishment. But if you're cooking in the restaurant and you're preparing the food, then that is going to speak of you being in a position where you're going to be serving and providing the nourishment for people in within the community that you're in or whatnot, or maybe you're going into. Uh, so that is a representation of you serving in the capacity as like a pastor or teacher, and something like that, where you're giving the nourishment, you're giving that to the people. So, and if you're receiving, like I said, it's because you need it. But just look at the role that you're playing in the dream or whatnot. So, if you're in a cafeteria and it's more of a cafeteria, not a restaurant, that's going to be a little different. So, I've had dreams where I was in the cafeteria and I was the first one in, like me and a couple of friends, and we got our tray, and you go through the little assembly line or whatnot, and then you go sit down. So cafeterias are more, there's not people there serving you, you're serving yourself. So it's going to be like that dream was a representation of me being in a community amongst people and in fellowship that I was getting nourishment at, but I had to do work, I had to work for it, I had to work at it to get the nourishment. Like, I had to go ahead and get the food myself because I was in the cafeteria. So I was serving myself, but in the context of community, we all sat at the same table, and there was plenty enough for everyone at the table, in our community. So that was speaking of, getting nourishment within the community, but also I had to serve myself. I was not being served. So receiving the spiritual food, but having to do putting some effort into it. Not everything wasn't just going to be given to me. So if it's a cafeteria, usually that's kind of where that's going to fall in line with typically. Now, if you're serving in a cafeteria, then that means you're going to be preparing and making sure people are getting the nourishment they need to grow and be mature. Uh, and it's going to be it's not going to be just one focus. It's not going to be as intimate. It's going to be a group of people. So God equipping you to do that as well, to serve multitudes of people. So just look at the other elements, and it'll help you understand your dream overall. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. And if you have any other questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Or if you want to know about other types of buildings, maybe buildings that you may have dreamt of, or different types of places you've dreamt of, leave it in the comments, or message me, and I will do videos about the most common ones I'm getting. And yeah, so go ahead and like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Until next time, be healed, be whole, be free. Bye.